last line of that scene is, fuck politics, we're here, all the rest is shit. I think that's the line. And that's sort of where it ends. But the politics of the book, which is a fascinating book by Tony Swofford, you know, is about how it relates to now, you know, and how we got embroiled, how we got embedded in the Middle East in this war. And even though we thought we won it, we hadn't. We were still there. And I felt the way it didn't project forwards enough. Mm-hmm. But that was because we were in the middle of the worst part of the war in Iraq at that time. And I didn't want to piggyback on that. It felt almost vulgar in a way. But I now regret not bringing that out more.
And is there a possibility that we will see what you referred to as a director's cut, in the understanding that that was a director's cut anyway?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that happens, I think, a lot, you know. People just release it, call it a director's cut anyway. But yeah, I'd love to do that. I mean, the weird thing about Jarhead is that, I mean, one of the things that brought home to me the importance of DVD sales for a lot of the large proportion of the financial burden of the movie that's taken by DVD sales for a studio was the fact that, you know, Jarhead opened very big in the States domestically, and it got mixed reviews, and it didn't sort of hang on very long. And it took something like $70 million, which is, you know, for an Iraq war movie these days unheard of, because nobody wants to see anything to do with Iraq ever again, it seems like. But at the time, it was the tail end of it. They were interested still. It took, in the first weekend of DVD release, in sales alone, $75 million, just in sales of the DVD. And I had literally not even. I mean, it's huge on DVD, and so I think that there is probably an audience out there for another DVD of the movie. I hope there is, because I'd like to do it.
Okay, well, we look forward to the director's cut. Now, as I said, because Sam is at flight 7:15, let's move on to questions. Can we bring the house lights up a little bit so I can just so I can see? If you have a question, please stick your hand straight up in the air and probably wave it around a little bit. Let's start there, sir. And can you? There's a microphone coming down to you.
Of all the kind of, obviously you said your old kind of cinematographers now here, of kind of cinematographers or producers or actors, who would you like to collaborate with next?
Oh, well, there's a lot of cinematographers. There's a cinematographer called Emmanuel Levitsky, who I think is incredibly talented, and the great Robbie Richardson. I mean, I think that one of the things, I'm not a fan of Los Angeles, or, you know, I hate using the term Hollywood because it sort of doesn't really exist. It's a collection of, you know, individuals. But one of the you know, I don't like being there particularly. One of the things that's not talked about LA is when you do go there, it's full of unbelievable craftsmen and inspiring people who are there to work on movies. You know, not the executives, not the studio heads, but the people who actually make the films. And there are hundreds of them. You know, and the cinematographers, some of the best. Actor-wise, I mean, I've always, you know, people you would imagine I would want to work with, I suppose, people like Johnny Depp. You know, I think Johnny's amazing, and I'd love to work with him. You know, but it's funny that you get given a list now of people, you know, who can get your movie made, basically. It's a, you know, you'll go to the studio and they'll say, okay, well, we budgeted it, probably going to cost $40 million, let's say. We'll make this movie with one of the following 9 people. If you can get one of the following 9 people, we can afford to make it, and if you can't, then we won't. And they hand you the list, you know, and it's the people that you'd imagine, you know, people called Brad and Tom, you know, and
Jean-Claude Van Damme still on that list?
there was no, I didn't see any Jean-Claude. And people do drop off it at a alarming speed, and occasionally, you know, that you'll have some crazy inappropriate, you know, people called Sasha suggested for action movies, for example. That's Sasha Baron Cohen. You know, he sold the movie. You know, Adam Sandler could be in it. You know, that sort of thing. So you get some crazy ideas too. But you know, but even right at the beginning, I had to navigate my way through. When I wanted Kevin Spacey to be in, I always knew I wanted Kevin and Annette. Weirdly, Kevin, because it was the height of his sort of the coolest phase of his acting career. He was just Unusual Suspects and Seven, and I just had a feeling that he could do it. But I had to go through all the suggestions, the Bruce Willises and the Kevin Costners and the John Travoltas, all of them were fantastic, and I could see why they wanted them at the time, but I just didn't think that they could carry this particular tone in the film, you know. So you know, there's a lot of weird games to try.
And of course, you've just made a film that substantially has no stars in it, which seems to be quite a pointed thing to have done.
Yes. Yeah, it was. it was deliberate, because I felt like, well, I didn't set out and think, I don't want any stars in this movie, I'm going to do it with people that a lot of people might not know so well. I just thought, who do I see when I read it? And I saw, you know, this wonderful description that David Vendler had written of Bert, which is that, you know, he was tall and gangly and looked like he had gone camping in the nude. He may have gone camping in the nude or spent some time trying to shoot people out of a tower or something like that. I just thought, John Krasinski. I mean, he came to my mind when I read it, and then, you know, the very specific requirements of Verona were that she'd be mixed race, and so I had to find the best actress. But it's nice to just set out to find the person that you think is the person you see in your mind's eye, rather than someone who might sell the film.
Let's take another